Hey guys, Matt here with Halloween Daily News, back with the second part of my exclusive new interview with living legend, personal hero, actor, stuntman, stunt coordinator, and Halloween franchise icon, Dick Warlock. Here it is, guys, part two. Maybe just a little bit more, if you don't mind. I know we've been talking a while. Just a little bit more on Halloween 3. I was going to ask, on those kills, the same question. Were they all scripted, or did you, as stunt coordinator, have to work out how they were all clearly on the page, that this one was going to be the mask and the bugs and all that? And what was the most challenging part of being stunt coordinator on that one?
That's one of those shows where you get the check and you almost back into the bank to cash it. You're so embarrassed about getting that, because it didn't demand much at all. Mm-hmm. It was one of those favors, I think, that that Deborah laid on me. May she rest in peace. She's responsible for that one, and the one up in Canada, Dead Zone.
Oh, Dead Zone. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Martin Sheen.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Christopher Walken. Yeah. Another Stephen King adaptation. The other thing I was going to ask about Halloween 3, I was just curious if you remember at the time there being any talk or concern that you heard about the fact that it didn't have Michael Myers in that one, which obviously became a big thing at the time. Now, all these years later, in the last decade, it's really had a resurgence in popularity, I feel like, and fans have really come to embrace it for what it is and take it as kind of this anthology segment over here on the side of the franchise as its own unique thing. And a lot of people love it for that now. But of course, at the time when it was released, almost 40 years ago now, that that wasn't the case. Some fans were very confused and upset that there was no Michael Myers in it. Do you recall there being any talk or any concern that you heard of, or they just weren't thinking in those terms at the time?
No, as a matter of fact, when we ended part 2, I said, is there any chance I could keep this mask? And she said, you can keep all that stuff. We're never going to do another movie with that guy in it, that character in it. So I knew that when they called me for 3, that he wouldn't be around. I wouldn't be reprising the role at all. Of course, Mustafa would have said, no, I wouldn't chase. And that was a sad loss when at the wedding in Iraq, that he got killed.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff that went on over there.
Yeah, just tragic. Yeah, because he really did, keep this franchise going for all those years. Well, I guess starting with part 4 on, they kept it going. And
I was on a flight back from someplace with Malik and Mustafa, and Malik and I got along. He was probably 7 or 8 years old back then, but we got along pretty good. And then it comes time when he takes over the business, and and he went along with his dad. Dick, he wants Jason, and that's the way it's going to be. We got to go. We're tied into a bigger guy now. Once he graduated as a bigger person. I think Kane went smaller, but he was big. When he's on the screen, and I don't mean just in size, but his character was mean and yeah. I hope you don't cut any of the comments that I've made about Kane out.
Oh no, I won't, definitely. No, I think people love hearing that, and we love Kane. Met him a couple of times over the years.
Ted White and I became good. We've known each other for years, but because of the conventions, because he always worked on Westerns and all kinds of other stuff that we didn't work that much together. I hired him on Escape from New York. He was one of the Indians on the roof when Kurt was escaping. Anyway.
Now, who is this? Kane was? Who was this? I'm sorry.
Ted White.
Ted. Okay, Ted White. Yes.
Part 4, right? What he in 4?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the reason I mentioned him.
Yeah.
Is,
yeah.
You know that.
I didn't realize that he was in Escape with You.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one that really doesn't look like I imagined is Ari. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In part 1, he was.
Yeah. Ari.
Ari Lehman. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Other than that, I know Morga, but I didn't know a lot of those guys. You know, I met them along the way, but I didn't know who they were. I thought the best, for my money, was Brad Marie.
In Halloween Resurrection?
Yeah. I thought he was the best Myers. And that, that includes Nick. You know. But well, with the first one, it was Tommy Lee Wallace stuff, all the action stuff, the knife in the wall up with the guy hanging and all breaking in the closet. And the reason for that Tommy told me was he was the production guy on the show, the production designer. So he was in charge of scoring walls and things that make things break easier and whatever. He knew where all that was at and how to do it, make it look good. So there was no objection to him doing it. You know, it was more of a team effort because it was non-union. They could get away with crossing lines. Yeah. Whereas when they went in the second one, it was the guilds and the AFTRA and the SAG and all.
Yeah,
and they kind of stayed in their own department. That made it a little bit different. You know.
Do you have a favorite scene from Halloween 2?
I always kind of tease people when I say the hot tub scene. And then I'm quick to say, but not for the reason you think, because I didn't see her from the front until the movie came out. They were all, I thought, I see some of the stuff they're doing now, and the stuff I did was, you know, I hated the one that. I hate that. God. And some of the walks, I thought, why didn't somebody say, can you kind of speed it up a little bit? I mean, yeah, I like the idea of him being more robotic. Because when Nick got up off the floor, it was mechanical. And that's why I did it the way I did it. And because I tried to follow some lead from the guy who did it before me.
Yeah.
Unlike George P. I don't care what the hell you guys did. You know?
So you did try to.
A while, but no.
So you did try to follow Nick's performance, specifically as kind of he left it in that finale, that climactic scene after the closet where.
The thing when he does this. I stole that. Because that was what the character did. Not that I was trying to follow his lead.
Yeah.
The only place I didn't, I don't think, is the walking. Although in a lot of scenes, he didn't walk any faster, really, than I did.
Right.
But, and actually, there wasn't that much walking in number 1.
That's true, yeah.
I did a lot of hallway walking and sneaking and, you know.
I think Michael is probably in part 1 the least of all the Halloween films, you know, Michael himself. With each consecutive film, they kind of showed more and more of what Michael was up to. But that first one, you know, he's in very, very few, until those last few minutes, really. It's really quick, minimal shots of him. And like you said, it was a collaboration, of course, in the 78 film between.
And it's still my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Jaws. It's the first one. It was 50 minutes or more before you saw the shark. because John Williams had boom, bum, 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 bum. That was the shark until you actually saw it. And that was the suspense for me. And I because I was privileged to work in Jaws, you know, it means a lot to me, being not only the movie being a successful movie and working with Spielberg, you know, it's a special one.
Yeah. One more thing on Halloween. I was just curious, have you seen the newest Halloween film that came out in 2018?
With Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a good job. He did a good job. Yeah. Not that the other guys did a bad job. Their reasons a little bit different. You know, their characters a little bit different. But Courtney's, yeah, he did a good job. And he's a nice guy. Yeah. All of them are nice guys.
Yes.
Every one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to agree. I thought James did a really, really great job. And I thought, me having had the honor to meet so many of you guys and interview a lot of you guys. Yeah, I mean, I've found the Michael Myers actors to be a really genuine, laid back, nice bunch of gentlemen to play the world's most famous fictional serial killer.
I get a lot of, you don't look like the kind of guy to be doing it.
I bet.
Yeah, you're not some of the other guys that, because they're manly, they don't have a baby face, they look more like what you might expect. You know, a tough Ted White kind of guy, you know. and Brad, well, they're all a lot bigger than me. I mean, gosh, I get in with these guys and I'm down here and they're all up there someplace. It kind of tickles me because I say, well, I'm the midget. My favorite line is, when I meet somebody, I bet you thought I was taller, didn't you? well, yeah, because they're always looking down at me. I went from 5'9.5" to 5'8". Yeah, I've lost an inch and a half in my height.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's when I had my knees replaced, maybe they cut out extra bone there because they cut that bone off, you know, and stick that thing in it with the part, and then you got the other part that so maybe they did that. I don't know.
Wow.
But now I'm really short. I'm catching up with Billy. He's only 5'7". I'm only an inch taller than him now. Lance, I think, is taller than me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Do you remember the Boombox Boy?
Oh, definitely. Of course. Yeah. I love how they paid tribute to him a little bit in the 2018 film as well. They had the little trick-or-treaters, and one was a pirate, and one had the boombox as like a kind of little wink.
I saw a lot of tributes. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I love those little touches, and I know the fans definitely appreciate it. How many times back on Halloween, the holiday, have you seen Michael Myers come trick-or-treating at your house over the years? Surely that's happened just once? Just one time.
Yeah.
And they had no idea whose house they were at, I imagine?
No, I live in a small town. When I moved here, I was going to be a plumber or a carpenter or something. And then I went to the hospital with my heart, had open heart surgery. And the Screen Actors Guild and their insurance and the name Warlock came out instead of my legal last name. Oh, then the newspapers came. Then it got in the newspapers, and then it was, oh, he lives here. He lives over here on this street. We're neighbors. And all the school kids know, and they go, Mom, take me over to the Michael Myers house. They don't know me from Adam, but they know Michael Myers lives here.
I got you.
We try to be home and hand out bags to each individual kid when they come. And several times I've put the costume on because I've got a Ken Hartline or Hartline who made the KHDW mask. Remember that?
Yep.
He made me a set of coveralls, so I already sold mine. But he put the the gunshots in the same place and all. So I'll put that on it, and I've got a mask that he made of Myers, and I've worn it. I'll stand at the front door, and Kathy will open the door, and I'll be standing there or something. There's a redheaded neighbor that is just frightened to death of Myers. At least she pretended to be. And I finally busted her one day at the market. I saw her up there and said, "You've been faking this reaction." And she just kind of, she never denied it, but you could tell she'd scream. The first time I had encountered her, she picked up something off the ground. I thought it was small pebbles or something. Threw it at our glass door. You know, you got it instead of a screen. Yeah. Who is this wacko? She's a crazy kid, you know. Wasn't a kid. She's not a kid. She's 40 years older. She's a babe. But anyway.
I was also curious, do you own any Michael Myers figures or collectibles by chance that have been released over the years?
Yeah, they're gifts. The thing people have given me stuff. People have given me masks. I got a whole collection of masks. Different makers have given me. Do you know Nick Malpagano?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him personally, but yeah, I know who he is. Yep.
Yeah, he's given me 2 now. In fact, I'm surprising a friend of his. We're going to do a Zoom on Sunday. He sent me a mask that his most recent, 2 of them. One for this friend, but the friend doesn't know he's going to get it.
Oh, wow.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to say, I've got some pictures on my computer I want to show you. I'm going to hit the Zoom click, open it up, and let Nick say, "Oh, Dick, I think you ought to get in the box over there," and give him his treat. And we're going to surprise him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Nick has made another mask. I don't know what it looks like because I opened the box, but I didn't look at the mask. He's got them all covered up. So I thought it'd be a surprise for me too.
So they send you, I imagine you
drift off the subject there.
No, that's fine. You know? That's perfect. I love that.
Start here and end up here, or vice versa.
That's okay. That's how the conversation works. But yeah, they'll send you, because they've done a ton specifically from Halloween 2. You know, with the bullet holes, like you said, and sometimes it's with the blood tears, and sometimes not, and or interchangeable heads now. NECA has some Halloween 2 interchangeable heads.
Somebody gave me one of those too. The newest one with the knife or what, an extra hand or something.
Yep.
Got the little pumpkin.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't have it up here.
And they did one recently with a Dr. Loomis from Halloween 2, and even Laurie Strode from Halloween 2. So they're doing all kinds of Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 love as well. They did the 3 trick-or-treaters from Halloween 3 last year.
I do have that white-faced little Mikey with the pumpkin between his legs. Have you seen the stuffed one?
Oh, yes. Yeah, like the plushy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one of those somebody gave me.
Do you get a kick out of that, just seeing this merch?
I do. Yeah. I don't know what to do back for these people. You know, they give you stuff, and you, what can I do for you? Nothing. I did. Just want you to have this. And it's so generous and you know, just full of grace. When I think about it, that's what starts to get to me a little bit, is that they don't have to do that, you know. They just, it's all right.
Well, speaking of fan stuff like that, when we last saw you, and it was very brief because you were very busy and we were running around, but it was in Pasadena at the 40th anniversary event in 2018, and of course you were there. It was the largest gathering of Michael Myers performers ever. I think all of you guys were there, and one thing that I remember, one of the things that Sue and I talk about all the time from that weekend was, you probably remember during the Halloween 2 panel, you invited a fan up to the front of the auditorium, and he proposed, surprised his fiance,
They live in Nashville.
proposed.
We got invited to the wedding, but we couldn't go. But they're two of those. They've become good friends.
That was just an amazing thing, and that goes along with what you're saying about the passion of these fans that they have the tattoos, and they it's part of their lives, and they have the shelves full of the collectibles and the masks, and then they make it so much a part that the people they want to witness something as special as the proposal is a room full of Halloween 2 fanatics, and introduced by Dick Warlock and Rick Rosenthal. Everybody was there. I mean, it was pretty magical to see, just as somebody just being there in that room and just watching that. I kind of got chills. I got chills now, kind of reminiscing about it. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is to be a part of that.
Yeah. And just briefly on Friday the 13th, you've talked a little bit about that, and I know we're still jumping around a little bit, but you did work on part 5, A New Beginning, and you were stunt coordinator on that. Did you play Jason at all in that, or you were just doing other work?
Did I do what on it?
Did you play Jason at all in any of the scenes?
No. Tom Morgan did the whole thing by himself. Yeah, I didn't know for a long time that's a way. When he talked, David, who directed it?
Who directed the?
He's a good friend of Danny Steinman. That's who it was. When Danny spoke to me about doing the movie, I was introduced to Danny because of Stan Winston. Stan Winston introduced me to James Cameron. That's how I met James Cameron. And another guy had the job as stunt coordinator on The Abyss, and he wanted to direct second unit. And Cameron says, "No, I'm doing that." And he said, "Well, then I don't want the job." That was Gail Ann Hurd's pick. And since he left, Cameron says, you had your choice. I want my guy. So they had him call me, and I came in. I didn't know that the way the movie was going to go because they never gave me a script.
Okay.
I didn't know that it was a fictitious Jason, somebody pretending to be Jason. It wasn't truly him until a few weeks into the movie. But the only tale I got about that movie that I think is funny, and Morgan tells it all the time, so most of these people probably heard it. There's a scene where the camera's looking from an upstairs window down at the Jason figure in a flashback. He's by a tree, and he's looking up. I turned around. No, actually, the camera's downstairs because I was upstairs and he was looking at me, and I pulled my pants down and mooned him. And he's laughing, trying not to shake under the mask. But it was just he and I. No one else saw it. And anyway, I thought Tom did a good job on there. I'm trying to remember the guy's name that doubled the little black boy. Woodfork. Ray Woodfork was the fellow that did the driving the tractor and stuff, and that's when Jason got knocked back. Okay, go ahead with your questions about that movie.
Oh, that was all just some memories of working on that, and again, I was just curious if you ever did, get behind the mask for that one at all. But you did keep the mask or a mask from that for a while, didn't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, not the, yeah. As a matter of fact, that's where the part 3 mask.
Okay.
The thing and the blood and the rubber head and all. That's how I got that. Is I asked for it on that movie.
Okay, you got the part 3 from.
That was used in part 3, 4, and 5.
I got you. Okay.
That's sold for quite a bit.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Because part 3 was the first time Jason had put the hockey mask on. So that was the original hockey mask, really.
I thought the bag was funky. I didn't care for the bag at all.
Oh, yeah, in part 2.
He came up with that hockey mask, but it's changed the whole dynamic of his character.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And you said that came from your relationship with Stan Winston. I guess, did the first time you meet him, was that on Pumpkinhead?
Who, Stan?
Yeah.
No, I met Stan his first day at Disney Studios, his first day in the motion picture industry.
Wow. Awesome.
He worked there as a makeup artist. And he would do the funniest thing. He'd make himself up. I remember he made himself up as an old woman and came on the sound stage at one of the movies we were shooting. And he's doddering around and he's talking to people and he just goes into this character who's really drawn up and shriveled, almost like the witch in the Halloween mask, you know, that thing. He'd do different faces, different makeups. He was marvelous. We became fast friends, he and Karen and my wife then, Ann. We were great buddies. We'd go to their house. In fact, he did a movie called Gargoyles when he won an Emmy for it. My wife, Ann, and I helped sculpt the little baby gargoyles.
Oh, wow.
At his house. And he'd come over and we'd do karaoke, sing the Beatles and just all kinds of, it was great fun with Stan. You know, we didn't live, but the train tracks, and maybe one or two streets divided us from being neighbors.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Very cool.
And then when I had that falling out with Cameron, because Stan's the one that got me hooked up with him. How that happened is Stan was in the process of making the mother alien for that movie Aliens. And he called me one day and he said, Dick, can you get another stunt guy and you two come down here? He said, I'm in the process of building this form and I need you and somebody else to operate it. So we had black bags on and broom handles and stuff for the long arms of the thing, you know, and we're laying back to back and doing one hand was doing this and another hand was doing this. And Cameron came because he did that particular film that I'm talking about. And Stan introduced the other guy and myself. And that's how the relationship happened with, I got my guy, you had yours, I got mine, and I got the Abyss. And again, I'm back down a rabbit hole. But anyway.
Well, that just comes back around to the Abyss that we talked about earlier. That
yeah.
Good but tough experience. And of course, you mentioned briefly working with Scorsese on Casino with De Niro and those guys.
Yeah. I worked
how was that?
On Midnight Run.
Oh, yeah.
Casino.
How was that?
He's a strange fellow.
Yeah.
When he gets into his character, when I did the Casino thing, that's when I was the closest to him. He calls Armstrong on the phone. That was the head of security. That was me. I show up. We rehearsed this, and he never even looked at me. Never shook my hand. Never said hello. Nothing. Scorsese came up and said, "This is what this, and you're going to go this and then." So, okay. And De Niro just like in another world. And he was friendlier on Midnight Run. I think Charles Grodin brought him out a little bit. Because I said to Chuck or Charles, I said, hey, can I get a photo with you? And he said, yeah. And he said, hey, Bob, come here. And Bob walks over and says, this is Dick Warlock. And we're going to, yeah. So I got a shot of the three of us, you know. Otherwise, I'd have never got that picture with him. Yeah. With De Niro. But he's just a funny guy. Go back and sit down with Scorsese and I had a good time with Don Rickles.
Really?
Again, the older folks will remember Don Rickles from doing the Tonight Show and all, you know. He was nothing like that at all.
Really? No. What was he like in real life?
Just straight guy. Just
really.
We had 20 minutes, about 20 minutes together alone in the makeup trailer on that movie. And we just chatted, talked about the movie, talked about what he did, what I do. And yeah, I really admire the stunt guys and so on. Just small talk. You know, but it was a whole other side of Don Rickles than I'd ever seen. Because if I'd have been on the Tonight Show, he'd made mincemeat out of it. You know what I mean? That's his comedy.
That was his.
He did. Yeah.
Any memories from working on The Thing? I know we're flashing. Now we're going back into the 80s a little bit, but again, it's a film that massive fan base. Everybody remembers it for the groundbreaking practical special effects and everything. And that's during your time when you were doubling Kurt for everything he did at that time. Yeah. Any memories you can tell us about from working on that film?
Just that it was a great experience working in Stewart, British Columbia. Every day we'd go through Alaska, through Canada, through Alaska, and then back into Canada again, or the other way around, whatever it was. And we passed a Russian outpost. It was from the old days, the real old days. You know, I guess part of that country belonged to Russia or something. But there was an outpost. There was a river that ran there, and I'd never, ever seen so many bald eagles flying in the river, picking up fish and the nests all over the place in the trees and wherever. Now get to the movie. It was an odd experience being on that glacier up there. It was colder than Billy B. Dern, but all the cast were great. Everybody in that movie was great. John and I were close at that time. It was a real good experience, the whole thing. And I had a guy that had helped me some in the business. I had a chance to get him up there to do the fire burn going through the wall. Tony Caesar is his name, and great guy. And he helped perfect the new fire burn stuff that they use now rather than the big bulky suit. Yeah. I just doubled Kurt using the thing. I doubled David, the tall, skinny guy who ended up being the Thing. When he goes up to the ceiling. Remember that?
Yep.
Well, we shot that in reverse. I was suspended about 3 feet off the ground, and it was a foam core. You know what foam core is, right?
Yep.
On the coffee cups, plastic, you know, the styrofoam coffee cups, and laid on that. And on cue, they just drop me, and I hit the seat. If you look real close at the movie, I don't know if they have those video recorders anymore where you can go almost frame by frame. You'll see a little piece of the roof go boom, boom, because it's upside down. In other words, it bounced and fell back. And upside down, it looks like it comes off the ceiling and goes back to the ceiling. It's a clue as to what actually happened.
A clue as to the movie magic. Yeah, I've never noticed that before. Now I'm going to have to go look for that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I got to fly a helicopter about, I don't know, 20 yards before I got it going this way. And the pilot said, I think I'll take it back now. Every day we'd fly up to the set. Some of us were privileged. I mean, some days I rode in the bus, but there were a number of times when I got to go up with the pilot and John and Kurt up the set in a helicopter in this big canyon. And one day I said, can I take this? He said, yeah, go ahead. He said, you see what you got to do? And feet on them. Because feet makes it do this and this does it. So I get to go on and he said, now don't get over aggressive with it. And pretty soon I'll take it back now. I experienced the same thing with my NASCAR game in the basement. Somebody new comes in and wants to try it. I said, I'll take it very easy because you can't do this because you're going to wreck the car and so on. Sometimes when I first started with this is a yoke for an airplane, my flight simulator.
Oh, okay.
I do that on this computer here.
Very cool.
I have Red Dead Redemption on the main floor of this house, and the NASCAR thing is in the basement.
That's great.
So I stay busy with my games when I'm not.
Yeah.
Especially this year with COVID. But
awesome.
Yeah, that's flying that helicopter. Strange. I know now that if you just gently do any corrections, it's not.
Doesn't take much.
No, you'll have that thing upside down and in a mountain in no time.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it on videos, YouTube. I spend a lot of time on YouTube just studying different things because you can learn so much from YouTube. You know, anything you want to know, somebody's done it.
Yeah.
So,
and I was gonna ask you mentioned when we talked before on Escape from New York. I think it was before you started filming. You actually taught Adrienne Barbeau how to use a handgun. Can you tell us that story again, if you don't mind?
You know, I was disappointed, Matt, because she didn't remember that when I reminded her of it at one of the conventions. Mm-hmm. After I talked to her a little bit, she said, "Oh yeah." Now I don't know whether she was just saying that to be nice or what, but John asked me. He said, "Adrienne's got to use this big monster gun, and she's never handled a gun before." And he said, I'm not big on guns. So would you go to the house and teach her something about it? So we went up in her bedroom because I wanted her over a mattress so that I could tell her how to hold it and so on, what to expect, that there would be no kickback from the blank. It wouldn't do anything, it just make noise. And we practiced a little bit and she got it right away. You know, she was just as sweet as could be, and I wasn't there very long, but yeah, I did spend some time in Adrienne Barbeau's bedroom. That's like getting knocked on my butt by Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
it leads your memory or your mind in one place, but it's really not.
But it's true nonetheless.
Some of these people, most of the people that I've met are really sweet, nice people. You know, the arrogant ones, I got no use for. But
Are there any other memories from that film, Escape from New York, that jump out as you look back now? That's another one, I think, about 40 years ago now. I guess 41 now.
Yeah, that's old one. That's the first time that I ever showed Carpenter a Texas switch.
Okay.
Now he uses it a lot. Example, at the end, Kurt goes up to the wall, comes down on the other side, and then drops behind the Jeep.
Oh yeah, when he comes back at the end of the movie.
I did the wall thing, dropped down, and he walks out. We did that a few times in Escape.
Nice.
Yeah, we did it in Big Trouble in Little China. Same thing. Yeah, that's so Cameron uses that. I mean, Carpenter uses it in some of his films that he's done since then.
So was that overall a positive experience working on that one, on Escape?
The only bad experience I've ever had was with Cameron. I just couldn't keep up with the guy. You know, he did use one of my suggestions in the film. I built a wall and put 2x4 pieces on it so that Ed could, you know, have his feet in a posture like he was whatever. You'll see it in the movie. And he bought that idea. He liked that idea, but I didn't suggest a whole lot to him because he knew exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
Exactly what he wanted. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I didn't spend a whole lot of time, not as much time as I thought I would underwater.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
There wasn't anything for me to do. I'd go down and spend a little time down there. You know, I did the scene where I died, which they don't show very often. You have to see certain versions of the movie to see where they find me under a bunk dead.
Oh, yeah.
And I think about that. There was many times when I could have enhanced the stunt by making more. Guys in the old days used to just fall down. That's the way I learned. Just now, guys are going, yeah, which is, you know, you see people at 9/11 when they jump from the buildings, they're kind of falling, and that's realism. Well, that scene, I should have had my eyes open when they find me under there. Just, you know,
yeah,
that would have been real.
Yeah,
I think it would have made a better shot.
And creepy too.
Yeah. Especially with people who didn't know that you can keep your eyes open under the water.
Yeah.
You know, not used to doing that.
Right. Yeah. And then just briefly speaking of working underwater, I know you've told the story before, but working in the cage scene, doubling Richard Dreyfuss on Jaws. Can maybe you can talk just a little bit? I know we're been talking for a long time, but if you've got just a few minutes more, if you don't mind, maybe you can tell me a little bit about working that cage scene. I know it got a little hairy at one point, I remember you saying.
Well, I got the job because they called a friend of mine, another stunt guy. Mickey Rooney's doubled for years, Jesse Wayne. They called him and he said, no, I'm busy working on another show. And he said, you should call my buddy, Dick Warlock. He's a certified scuba diver. He'd be fine for that. So they called me. Tom Joyner was the production manager, and I went in and met with him. And he said, yeah, you'll do fine. I can see the resemblance between you and Richard back then. So I show up down at MGM Lot 3, and there they have this huge tank, which for those people that are up in their 70s or 80s remember Esther Williams, who did a lot of water ballet movies. She'd do underwater stuff. Well, this was a tank. They call it the Esther Williams tank because they built it specifically for that. It has 4 portholes where different cameras can get different angles. Okay. They had that filled up. They had Bruce on the gimbal, which allowed it to move and do its thing. And I show up and they send me the hair, and because his hair is curly. So they curl my hair with a curling iron. I get dressed, I get in the water, and my hair goes straight. It didn't work. Right? So now they got to take me out and they got to do a permanent. They didn't cut my hair to do it. They just curled my hair permanent. It's like when I did the Green Beret, they cut 1/2 of my head to shave, and then they put the beret on the other side. And that was when I left. I had like these newfangled haircuts where you cut this and stick this straight up. You know? Right. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't know anything about that, but
no, not anyway,
me. We got in there, and the first time that the shark actually hit, I think it was actually the second time, punched a hole in it, knocked the regulator out of my mouth, and caught me off guard is what it was. And I wrangled around it, but I'm signaling Zendar, Freddie Zendar, the water guy. He's sitting up on the side of the tank looking down at the thing. And I guess he didn't understand. I know he understands because he's an underwater guy. That's what he did. But anyway, we got through that. I got the regulator back and everything was cool. And I never said anything to anybody, and nobody asked me about it. So my son, I remembered getting one of those teeth out of a bucket, and he said, no, you showed me the bucket, Dad, and I picked it up. I took Billy and Lance down to the set, and there was nothing going on, but he picked one of those teeth up, and he's got it to this day out of the shark.
Wow, that's cool.
I got some footage, an 8mm, a bunch of footage that I got of the shark making movements, which they used in a documentary about making the shark is still working or something like that. And one that we did with my next door neighbor was this executive at Universal. He came over one day and he said, listen, Dick, he said, we're doing a special on Jaws, and we're going to do a laser disc for it. We'd like you to be a part of it. We'd like to interview you, and So I did that. And,
I wanted to ask just one more film on my on my list of landmarks. I mean, I could go on for more, but you worked on Spider-Man in 2002.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was there in Los Angeles for a week. I already lived here. My last film was, I can't even remember, part 2 of something. Anyway, guy called me. He wants me to come to LA for a week. I go out. There's a balcony, all, you know, on stage, green screen, all this stuff. You guys were going to blow this place up. The Green Goblin's coming in and throw a bomb. Bomb's going to go off, fire, and the parts of concrete are going to fall on you and all this, and you're going to run around, and it's a big melee. I was one of the gray-headed guys, and we're all kinds of executives on that balcony. A week shooting that. I mean, that's it. In Casino, I was there a week to shoot zapping the guy with a cattle prod. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know, what was it, 10, 15 seconds on film? A week. I love it. It's a great business. That's the part about the business I love, and I miss, you know, the people that I worked with and just doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. They don't even have the Riviera Hotel anymore in Las Vegas. They tore it down. So we were one of the last people to work at the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas. Love it. Anyway, that's the deal with that.
Awesome. And you mentioned before about the cameos. If Malik Akkad contacted you tomorrow and wanted to put you in a cameo as a, like you said, a security guard or a janitor or somebody in the next movie?
Do dialogue. I just can't do a whole part, a whole movie, a whole part, probably. And then again, maybe I can. I don't know. I can't remember much. That's the problem. I freeze up. I didn't see there's another part in the book about freezing up, what caused that years ago. Stage fright. That's what I got. But it's limited to opening your mouth for extended periods, big paragraphs, that kind of stuff. I think those people are gifted that can just go on with a monologue. It's amazing what they can do. And Billy, my son, he remembers 4 or 5 pages of dialogue. He can do it one time. Yeah. That's why I say, when people say, I don't suck at acting, I know that if given the opportunity and somebody would work with me and get me past that, I think I'd be pretty good. But there's nobody going to give you that. Maybe Walt would have done it. He may have opened the door for me to be another De Niro.
Man.
Or Don Hank. No, not Tom Hanks. I was thinking of Tom Hanks when he first started in the TV series where he was. Yeah. He's come so far, man. What a talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Tom Hanks, you mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah. From where he started on, what was it? Bosom Buddies?
Yeah.
Was that show?
Yeah. Yes. Wow.
Amazing.
If he only knew back then where he was going, I wonder if his life would have been different. But
yeah, really.
Went right along, and the jobs came, and he grew with it. And you know, there's a lot of guys like that's happened to, you know, but not many Tom Hanks come out of it.
I imagine for a lot of these guys, it's similar to your story, where you know they're just working, and then before they know it, you look back and it's like some of your projects have attained this mythic, almost iconic status, and it's like at the time it was a job, and now it's taken on a life of its own. Did you see Quentin Tarantino's newest movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, by chance?
Yes.
Because when I watched it, I thought of you, obviously with the Brad Pitt character, and I told Sue, I was like, that's kind of like Dick Warlock, you know, and so I was just curious, what's your thoughts on that and how that scene was?
I thought it was an excellent movie. I thought, it's a dramatized situation. It's not the way we really operate. I mean, in some cases, you're close to, I'll say Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds were the best of buddies. that's how Smokey and the Bandit got made. Is Hal lived at Bert's house, and he wrote the thing with somebody else, and then presented it to Bert. And Bert said, "I'd like to do this," and the next thing you know, that's done. And then Hooper and so on, and Hal became a multimillionaire. There again, I'm getting tired, I guess, because my brain's starting to shut down on it. About that movie, some things stood out to me. The signs that they used brought back a lot of memories, because a lot of them were from around LA. The Manson Ranch and that whole thing. We shot 3 little films that were pilots for a Western series called Guns of the Lawless West at that ranch. I used to drive past that ranch on that highway every Saturday and Sunday to go to Corriganville, because it was right over the hill from where that ranch is.
Wow.
So I could relate to all of that stuff that they were talking about. Yeah, so much of the dialogue yeah, that's pretty much what it is, you know. So I enjoy the movie. Kathy did too, and she could care less about the movie industry. So, I don't know.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I was just curious because I really liked it too, but I definitely, when I watched it, I talked to Sue after. I thought of you. I was thinking of you watching it. I was like,
no kidding.
Yeah, definitely. So that's cool.
I could have been Brad Pitt's stunt double, you know.
Yeah, I mean they should have had you in there
back in the day, baby.
That's another one they should have had you do a cameo in, you know, just
no, I don't even know those people. They would have picked somebody who's working now, not me, you know.
I don't know. Tarantino he probably knows who you are. I think he probably knows who you are.
I think the Halloween people should write me something, small little bit. I think the fans, just for the fans, because I think they'd get a kick out of it if they recognize me.
Oh, the fans would love it. The fans would love it.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you're even just a security guard or you know, just a guy in a bar or something, you know.
What would be neat is if I was a victim.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Taste of my own medicine.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it out there, Malik. Come on.
It's people like you that can do that. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite film of yours? And also, what's your favorite film just in general?
I don't have one, really.
Okay.
Yeah. They were all fun. Not many people can start out as a young boy playing cowboys and Indians and with no reflection on the race, but that's what it was back in the 50s when I was a kid. Get to go ahead and fulfill that dream in Hollywood on screen, playing shoot 'em up. And I mean, you know, double a bear, kiss a bear. I doubled a bear on Spaceballs. I was the bear in the bear suit, and bye-bye, I'm gone. Kiss a bear on a Disney movie. That's tricky. I'll explain that in the book. Anyway, yeah, I'm so blessed, Matt, to get to know you and Susan. I mean, awesome. You know, there's so many neat people out there that I've met. So many fans. Several have become good friends. You know?
Very cool. Well, we're blessed to know you as well, and we I can't thank you enough for doing this today, man. This has just been a total blast for me.
It's more fun than I thought it might be. This is the first one like this I've done.
Awesome. Well, yeah. I'm glad it was fun for you as well.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It'll be in the book.
Very cool. Well, sir, thank you once again. This has been such a pleasure and an honor. I've had a great time, and I hope you have too.
To the friends of HalloweenDailyNews.com, I'm grateful for this interview and the opportunity to kibitz with you. Take care. God bless. Bye.
Man, nobody's got stories better than his, right? Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, guys. Lots more exciting content is coming. You don't want to miss it. Until then, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you for watching.